WPYX 106.
It's Quinn and Cantera.
It is PYX 106. I've been waiting for this moment right here. Attorney Paul Harding is on the line from Martin Harding and Mazzotti, 1-800-LAW-1010. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing well this morning. Good morning, guys.
So I last week, just to bring you up to speed, we did talk about this yesterday, and we actually had a very nice state police.
Sergeant Larkin from Troop G, who is a great friend of the program already.
But you know, we're relatively new to the area, so I rolled through a stop sign last week, Paul, and I readily admitted it. I don't know where the trooper came from, but he got me.
Yep.
He hands me the ticket, and I say, how much? He says, I can't tell you how much. He said, and by the way, you're going to want to plead not guilty because you're going to get whacked with surcharges. Paul, what's the deal? In every other state, when you get a ticket, it says, you know, rolling through a stop sign is a $50 ticket. Here's the ticket.
Yeah.
What's up in New York?
Yeah, in New York, we take it pretty serious, I guess. It's 3 points on your license.
Now, how many points are you allotted before you can't drive?
Well, you get to 11, and all of a sudden, you're not driving.
Dude, you got 3 points on your license now?
No. Well, and to bring you up to speed,
yet.
Paul, I haven't had a ticket since I was 17 years old. I'm 38 right now.
Yeah, well, you know, and that affects the fine a little bit. But just to backtrack, you're in a situation where, you know, clearly, you know, you have no points anywhere, but it matters where the points are. Meaning, let's say you had points in Massachusetts. Those points don't transfer into the New York license. It's how many points you have in New York. I want to be clear on that point.
So you get
first.
you start fresh each state.
You could, if you drive around a lot, you could collect points and keep your license until you reach the maximum for that state. But in New York,
for instance, like I got 2 speeding tickets in the same day in Colorado a couple years back. Like one for like 90, one for like 95.
Yeah.
Like literally in the same day. It was a bad day, but so that wouldn't transfer over to here.
The points don't transfer. If you don't pay the fines, they can't suspend your license here in New York. But the points don't transfer. And from an insurance company perspective, a whole other set of facts, meaning how does it affect your rates? That's what we worry about, right? Are our rates going to go up because of these violations?
All right, so I interrupted you. Go ahead and go back to what you were saying there with Steve.
But you're in a situation where, excuse me, you got these a 3-point violation. The police officer says, I can't tell you what the fine amount and surcharge is going to be. The mandatory surcharge is $85. So every ticket you get, it's $85 plus the fine, which is completely up to the discretion of the judge with certain maximums. So historically, a fine is going to be around $125 to $150 plus the $85 surcharge. So he probably didn't want to tell you because he thought that was really going to make your day even worse.
Yeah, right. So couple of questions, Paul. I feel like a surcharge is me being taxed twice.
Yeah, it's feeling a lot like that just walking around life. But yes, you're getting taxed. That goes to the state of New York. That's the surcharge. And then the municipality, the local jurisdiction where you got the ticket, they get to keep the fine money.
All right, so give me the 1, 2, 3 on what happens. What do our listeners do in order to maximize the savings on a ticket issue with surcharges? What do they do?
Should we always plead not guilty? Does that help?
Well, you plead not guilty, but then you've got to appear in a court, and then you've got to go there and attempt to get a reduction. And the key reduction you're looking for is what they call a 1201A, or parking on the pavement. Interestingly enough, there's no points and there's no surcharge because it's a parking ticket in essence.
Okay.
So you plead not guilty, you appear, you ask for a reduction. It seems silly, but that is the process. Or if you plead guilty by mail, you get the 3 points and you get the maximum fine. So
now, what if you're late? What if you're late to the court?
So by pleading not guilty, in your eyes, I handled it properly.
You did, and then the next step is going to be you're going to have to appear and take time out of your day and your effort. Or as what you could do is you could really at this point even just send me a copy of your ticket, and because you've been It's sort of like a welcome wagon because you welcome it. You know, you new guys in town. We'd be happy to help you out with that.
Oh, you hear that? Can't tell you.
It's funny there. Because and I specifically thought of you while I'm sitting there. And first of all, did I really need to take 15 minutes from the time they pull me over to the time they hand me a ticket?
Take it easy. Okay, we don't know what they do in there.
But the cop said to me, you want to plead not guilty, you want to mail this in. He said, and you may also want to get an attorney. And I thought to myself, the price of the ticket versus the price of an attorney.
Right.
And you know, I'm no slight to attorneys. Is it worth it? Does it financially? Does it make sense to get an attorney rather than pay all the surcharges and the ticket?
Right. Well, and then the question is, if you pay the ticket and you pay the surcharges, you got 3 points. Now your insurance company may look at you and say, okay, now we're going to bump your rates up.
So it could be up. That the total cost could be like well over $300.
Oh yeah, easy. And then and compounded, annually with your insurance prices being more expensive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it might have made sense to not mail it in and to go see someone like you first.
But the good news is we can contact the court and we can get it back and we can take care of it without you having to appear in most cases. Because again, going to court, 2 or 3 hours, you're sitting there, you get called, and then then you're in a world that you're unfamiliar with. Probably anyway.
Well, this is why we have you on, because it's probably not a good idea for everybody to start calling you for all their speeding tickets, right?
No. Anyone can call for anything. Yeah, we don't do a lot of them. We generally do them for family and friends and people that we know. So, but as a general proposition, it is something that if you just keep pleading guilty to them, eventually you'll be walking.
All right.
And then I read an excuse from speeders yesterday. I wonder if this ever works. I was speeding because I was going downhill. Have you ever seen that one work?
No. Yeah. The only one that works is I think you just sort of generally admit guilt like you did to the police officer, and you say you're sorry, and you kind of if you were in a rush for a really good reason, they do take the human consideration in place, but. Ultimately, you roll through a stop sign, and that's their job to issue a ticket.
Well, I appreciate your help. I hope those listening in a similar situation can utilize your help as well. It's Attorney Paul Harding from Martin Harding and Mazzotti. Reach out to him at 1-800-LAW-1010.
Super helpful.
I really appreciate the info, Paul. Thanks again.
Absolutely, guys.